Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like your mind keeps replaying the worst call over and over? Like, no matter what you do, you can't escape the loop? If you've been through trauma as a first responder, it's not weakness. That's not you being broken. That's your brain trying to protect you. But here's the truth, my friends. You don't have to stay stuck here. Today, we're going to talk about how to reset your mind after trauma so you can break that cycle and move forward in strength. First, let's talk about why this happens. When trauma hits, the brain flips into this survival mode. The amygdala, the part of the brain that controls that fight, flight, or freeze, stays on high alert. Even after the danger is over, your body acts like it's still in that middle of the call. Now, at the same time, the logical part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, gets short circuited. That means making decisions, problem solving, or even seeing hope feels kind of impossible. And then comes that repetition trap. Your brain replays those painful memories as a way to, keep you safe. But instead of protecting you, it keeps you reliving the pain and stuck in that same loop. That's why you feel you can't move forward. Not because you're weak, but because your brain's doing the job a little too well. So here's where it all gets so dangerous. Now, after trauma, it's easy to fall into what we call that fixed mindset. That's when you start believing things like, this is just who I am. I'm broken. I'll never get better. That's called identity lock. You confuse what happened to you with who you are. And those beliefs become limiting. But if you convince yourself that recovery isn't possible, you won't even try. You won't even try to use any tools that could actually help. So before you know it, you're caught in this hopeless loop. Negative self-talk fuels the systems, and the systems reinforce those negative self-talks. But my friends, remember this. Your mind, it's not your enemy. It's just stuck in this survival gear. And the good news, you can shift it. So how do we shift it? How do we reset that cycle? By shifting into what is called a growth mindset. That means what we're going to do is we're going to look at challenges, not as proof that you're broken, but as opportunities to build strength. Instead of thinking, this will break me, you reframe it into something like, this can teach me resilience. It's also about focusing, my friends, on the progress, not perfection. You don't have to feel 100% better overnight. And you know what? You probably won't. If you sleep 4 hours instead of 2, that's progress. If you reach out to a peer or wrote something down in a journal, that's progress. Small wins retrain your brain to notice growth instead of pain. And finally, it's about perspective. Setbacks aren't failures. They're training ground. Every time you face a tough moment and get back up, you're building. You're proving to yourself that trauma doesn't get the last word. You do. So here's a practical tool that you can start this week, which is very simple, the Mindset Reset Journal. So step 1 is just to write down one negative thought you catch each day. Just one. Step 2 is pause and ask yourself, is this a fixed mindset thought? Is this me saying I'll never change or I can't handle it? What is that thought? Step 3 is to rewrite that thought into a growth-focused statement. For example, I can't handle this becomes I've handled worse before and I can adapt again. My friends, if you do this daily, you'll start rewiring your brain. You'll teach it that resilience and growth are possible, even in the face of trauma. Now, trauma loops, they're very real, but they don't have to define you. Your brain isn't broken. It just needs a reset. Every time you shift one thought, you're breaking the cycle. You're proving to yourself that healing is possible. So if this video helped you, share it with a brother and sister in uniform. Share it with someone who you feel needs it. And remember, you're not broken. You're rebuilding. And every step forward is strength.